So here's the inside of the Grenadier. This is a Trial Master, but it's been done out a bit more like a Field Master because it has the leather seats and a few other extras that is more regular for the Field Master. But I think this spec has the best of both worlds really, because it has all the off-road capability, but it's a little bit more comfortable, at least for me, on the inside. Got the Safari windows in this model, and also the full range of electrical switches for the auxiliary points above. Front and rear differential lockers, and because it has the upgraded upholstery, has the electric heating as well. So I've only had the car for about a week really, just still getting used to how this thing drives. A lot of people have said or mentioned already about the fact that it is built like a tank, and yeah, that's definitely the first impression you get when you drive this thing. It really does feel incredibly heavy, in a good way, I should say. It's definitely not you know, comparable with some of the modern SUVs that you might see from Mercedes and BMW. It's a completely different animal, and I could actually see a lot of people driving this car and thinking, what the hell have I done? Because, you know, it does feel very old school. I've actually never driven an old Defender, but I can imagine this really feels like an old Defender, but obviously screwed together a lot better. I mean, it's, some people have mentioned the door clunk, which definitely you can't mistake. It's a really solid car. Really nice position of the door rim here, so it's a really good place to rest your arm. It's really comfortable on longer journeys. The famous footrest issue down here, I don't really find it a big issue, but I can see why people would. It's not really that it's you know, the angle of it or the width. That's absolutely fine and it's quite normal, but it is quite short. So I mean, by that I mean the bulkhead is not as far back as it is in most cars, so you can definitely, you have to basically bring your left leg back a little bit more. So it feels a bit like driving a bus or a truck in that respect, so I can see why some people would get a little bit miffed at that, but it doesn't bother me at all. I've been on, you know, 4, nearly 5 hour journey so far, and it was absolutely fine. Again, once you get used to it, it's really not a problem. Steering, again, if you're used to a heavier off-road type orientated vehicle, then it's no problem at all. It does take a little bit of getting used to. You just have to kind of work the steering a little bit more. Some people have been talking about the fact that you feel as if you're adjusting the steering a lot. I don't really find that. If you're on a straight road, it's just like any other car, maybe a little bit more adjustment, but nothing really unusual. I haven't really spent much time, if any, in the back so far, but it's not a bad place to be. I was a little bit worried initially that there wasn't enough space back here, but actually when you sit in the car, it's really fine. It's pretty comfortable. I won't be spending much time in there. We don't have kids or anything either, so I don't care. We've got a dog guard back there where we're actually getting a dog next week, so that's come just in the nick of time. The only thing I didn't get with this car from the ordered accessories was the picnic table, which I understand is pretty regular, that people have been waiting for that, and I didn't get the winch kit, which, yeah, I guess it will come at some point. So that's a very quick kind of just overview and interior look around. Again, I'll do some more videos, but hopefully this gives you at least an initial view of what to expect. Just saying, the Safari windows, I really do like them. I did wonder whether there might be almost too much sun coming in, but really it gives you a very unique perspective when you're driving, and it does feel really good. So I'm glad that I got these windows. Other thing, I did get the latest software update, so I haven't sort of noticed any unusual warning messages or anything untoward. It all seems to be working pretty well. The only thing I have noticed that other people have mentioned is when it's been raining pretty hard, when you open the door you do get quite a bit of water coming out, you know, of literally maybe half a litre kind of drops out as if it's being kind of retained somewhere. I understand there will be a fix coming on that. It has something to do with the door seals, I understand. It's not letting the water drain out. But again, not really a big issue in terms of the overall car. I mean, the car's running really well. Just give you a bit of an exterior view here. Again, this is actually the Eldoret Blue with the white roof, which apparently was the first example in New Zealand. I have seen an Eldoret Blue in some photographs, but not with a white roof. I do have a couple of these roof bars. I will be getting another roof bar because I have a rooftop tent, which you can see here on the Toyota, which I'll be moving across to the Grenadier. Just wanted an extra bar there to kind of spread the load a bit better, and hopefully let the tent sit towards the back a little bit more and make sure I can still use the Safari windows. I also have the side steps on this one. I really like them. I think the rock sliders would be pretty useless for me as a side step, and these don't seem to kind of affect the actual kind of clearance at all, really. I mean, there's other components there, as you can see, are slightly lower. Might be an issue if you were doing a lot of rock crawling and stuff like that, but I don't really intend to do that. It is a really impressively built car. I mean, I've been underneath the car, had a look at all the components, and it really is built like a brick shit house, basically. So it certainly gives the impression that it's going to stand the test of time. But obviously we won't know until we've had a bit more miles in the clock. But it really is built really well. The only thing I would say, in terms of the drive, really happy with the overall driving experience, but I did notice that, and I don't think this is anything that's wrong specifically, but it is a little bit, certainly it takes a bit of getting used to get the car going off the mark. It feels a little bit sluggish. It feels as if the first few gears are really not doing much, and you have to rev the car a little bit to get it off, if you know, any speed at all. If you just kind of let it go off gently, you can be wearing, it feels as though it's very slow off the mark, so you have to really kind of work the engine a bit to get the car off a kind of standing start. But once it's going, it's got a lot of, you obviously, you know, hold down power and no problems accelerating and stuff like that. It's just I'm just wondering if they could have done a little bit of a better job on the gearing for road driving. But yeah, maybe that will just be you know, getting used to how the thing drives. It is a heavy old car. I mean, it's knocking on the door of 3 tons, so, and it's only got a, you know, 245 horsepower engine at the end of the day. So, you know, maybe that's just the kind of price you pay. But I don't, you know, I feel as if they could have done something a little bit more to make that a bit more refined, I guess is the word I'm looking for, but we'll see. But other than that, everything looks really well made. Everything, as you can see, it's all labelled. It's really, everything's BMW under here, obviously. So I've got no real qualms about how this thing's going to stand up over time. I think it's going to be a pretty reliable piece of kit. So just real quick, give you a look in the back. Oh, I did get the checker plates here, which I'm really glad I did. It's sounds a bit stupid, but it's a really great little surface. You can stick, you know, coffee cups or tools, or if you're working with a laptop, or I guess guys that are out with drones and cameras, you know, really great spot. And it does take basically a pretty decent load on here as well. Let's just open the back here. A really nice sounding door, especially the small one. It feels like a vault door. So yeah, I've got the tie down points here. I've got a kind of load sort of space retainer, I don't know what you can actually call them, which is really good for just kind of keeping smaller items under here, stops them sliding around. Haven't really put much in the back yet, but obviously once the dog comes, this will be his spot, I guess. As I mentioned, didn't get the table yet, but that'll come hopefully quite soon. One thing I would say is, and some others have commented, some of the plastics in the car are kind of, I don't know if I would use the term disappointing. They just seem a little bit sort of, you know, I've seen better, put it that way, on some cars, and this is an example. It just doesn't seem to fit that well, but it won't be a big issue for me because I think the table will sort of replace most of this anyway. And just, I suppose, a little bit of some of the finishings sort of not quite to the level that you would expect from some of the big guys, but yeah, it doesn't really bother me. It's still a solid car. Everything's kind of made pretty well. The materials seem overall pretty good, so I don't really have any negative things to say about it other than, you know, just the observation that it's kind of not quite up to the best. But then it's yeah, certainly the price I paid, it was quite a bit cheaper than you know, something like a Land Cruiser, which, you know, I guess when they eventually are for sale in New Zealand, they'll be sort of quite a bit more than this, I would guess. Okay, so I think that's all I've got for now. I will do a driving video at some point and then take it off-road and hopefully get some shots of that as well, but that's just my first overview of the car. Again, done about maybe 600 kilometres, so pretty minimal driving for now, but heading up to Auckland this weekend, so hopefully get the opportunity to give it another blast up the road and see how she does, but so far I'm really impressed. Alright, that's me for now.